I'd like to show you how the three non-math websites in the PassGED family of websites can help you get 3/4 of the short questions on the science test, the social studies test, and the language arts test in the 2014 GED set. I begin by going to passged.weebly.com, and here are links to all 4 of the PassGED websites and also to this video and 2 others. To begin with, I'd like to bring up the science website, the social studies website, and the language arts website side by side so we can move back and forth between them. In each of these tests, 80 to 85% of the points come from the short questions. The 3 websites all apply the same 4-step system to answer short questions. The content of the questions is different, of course. Questions in the science test are about science and so forth. But in almost every question in all 3 tests, the questions themselves contain what you need to know about science or social studies or language arts. So that, for example, if you encounter a question about plate tectonics on the science test, the question itself will contain the information you need. There's no payoff to studying about plate tectonics, just as one example. There's a big payoff, however, to studying test-taking skills, and that's the emphasis here. Now look at the headings in the science website. There's an answer section which explains the 4-step system and how to apply it, and there are 2 examples sections. In social studies, there's an answer section and 2 examples section. In language arts, there's an answer section and 3 examples sections. Now back to science, there's also a science question section. There are 5 essential science skills you need, but only 5, and this science section provides lessons and practice questions about these skills. Now there's another exception in language arts in the grammar section. There are 2 questions in the language arts tests about grammar, and this grammar section helps you learn how to avoid 8 grammar errors with lessons and examples. But these are exceptions. Now still going to the social studies website, let's look at the answer section to see the 4-step system. In step 1, you skim the first part of the question, which I call the bundle of information. In step 2, you read the instructions for the question carefully. In step 3, you answer the question using what you've learned in your skimming and reading, and then you guess if necessary. These are the 4 steps. Now within this system, there are specifics that change from test to test. Just for example, in science and social studies, you have to know how to skim diagrams. In language arts, how you skim depends on whether the test explains something or tells a story. In social studies, there are 2 kinds of tricky questions. In the 2 grammar questions in language arts, you don't need the entire 4-step system. In social studies and science, but not in language arts, you have to notice whether you can answer the question directly or whether you have to answer indirectly by eliminating incorrect choices. These specifics are all covered in the website, but they are details. The 4-step system is the same. So just for example, let's look at an example in the social studies website, and here we have, for a particular question, notes about skimming, notes about reading, notes about answering, notes about guessing. If you go to science, you see the same thing. I'm just clicking arbitrarily on a question. Notes on skimming, notes on reading, notes on answering. If you go to language arts, you would see something similar, except that the text covers 6 to 8 questions, and so we talk about this, what kind of skimming you would do first before looking at reading, answering the question, and guessing. There are about 50 examples in each of the 3 websites, and so there are notes on every one of these 50 examples, like the notes you've seen. Now, to get the most benefit from these examples, I urge you to try to answer each question yourself first before looking at the notes. Now, where do these examples come from? The best source is the 3 free practice tests from GED Testing Service, but there aren't enough examples there to give you the practice you need with this system. So I've drawn additional examples from Cracking the GED Test, a test preparation book from Princeton Review. It's the only other source I've found, whether online or in a book, where the questions are like the ones on the real test. If you can't find a copy, you can buy one from Amazon for about $17. By applying this 4-step system, therefore, you should be able to get 3/4 of the short questions in each of the 3 non-math tests. Now, you can also get 3/4 of the points on the writing questions and 150 points on the math test, as other parts of the PassGED system explain how to do. You can pass all 4 GED tests and get on with your life. Now, in each of the intro sections is a page that makes it easy for you to send me your comments and suggestions. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and good luck on the tests.